question will be the first to answer. It will be in the same format, so Denny will have 2 minutes to answer, Randy will have 2 minutes to respond, and then each of you will have 1 minute to wrap things up. With that, Denny, building the Belfair bypass has been on the list of Chamber legislative priorities for several years, yet we are years away from funding construction. What is the County Commission's role in advocating for the bypass, and what will you do specifically?
That's a great question. A lot of people have asked that question over time. Can you hear me?
No. A little closer. Bring it closer to you. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, what I said was it's a great question. A lot of people have asked it in Belfair and throughout the county. I think that there is an answer, but I'm not sure that I have it. What I do have is a commitment to working with the people in this county to arrive at a solution to the problem and get a bypass completed. The actors at the state level are critical to this process. We heard earlier this evening about the role of DOT, and I think that there are legislators and senators who have to be brought into the process as well. And I believe that there is money available if we go after it, if we put together a committed group of people, not only in the Belfair area, but throughout the county. A committed group of people, business and private sector and public sector people, who are committed to getting the thing done. One of the things that I know that has been a hindrance in the past is that the Department of Transportation has used the discord that has existed in the Belfair area about the bypass to as an excuse not to go forward. We need to get behind it and get it done.
Thank you. Randy, 2 minutes?
I've been working on this for many years. This isn't something that I'm just now picking up, just now learning about. I'm a port commissioner for the Port of Allyn, and most people don't understand, but the port, one of their main objectives, aside from economic development, is infrastructure. They have the ability, and it's within their purview. So this is something that we've been looking at and working at for years, not just because they've lived there and dealt with it for years, but I want to remind people a little bit of history here on it. First of all, it was on the books. It was not a state project until only about 8 years ago. Before they came on the commission, it was changed. Before Linda and Kim and them, it was changed by the commission that was there before that. They basically zoned it and started a big hullabaloo about it. Shortly afterwards, it became a state issue. But then there was a time here only a few years ago where we had another opportunity again. There was like $11–12 million that the state had set aside for this project, but they were talking about 108. I saw an opportunity arise as I started contacting the different people that have been involved in this for years. Mr. Overton, the county in different levels, and started trying to find out if there was a solution if they partnered with the state, because the state, the port is considered a state entity, and that money can be moved through the state. So I started trying to find a way to use it, and I went to the different entities, asked them what they wanted to get it done, because there had been a lot of battles. What it ended up coming out to is certain people wanted certain things, like Charlie Boutros at the time, he wanted his one-on-one connector, and it was check, 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 and we found out what we could do, and then asked Charlie Boutros how much it would take to do it. And at the time, he said 24 million. Now I went to Tim and a few others, and we were looking to do it. We pull it back as a Port County conglomerate issue if the money started to move, but it wasn't moving at the time, and then it disappeared. It was none of their faults for not jumping on it. They all thought it stood a chance. Now is an opportunity to pull all these entities like the port, the county together, bring it back to be a county issue, and establish it again in the same location or inside the railroad tracks, this time for a shorter distance.
Thank you. Denny, 1 minute?
Yeah, the question was, what does the county commissioner do in this circumstance? And I think that one of the things that I would bring to this situation is a lifetime of bringing communities and ideas together. I think that the county commissioners have a leadership role to play. It is in our county. We have a leadership role to play, but we are not sole actors. We need to bring together a coalition of local leaders, state leaders, and professionals to put together a plan that is fundable, a plan that could be done in collaboration between the state and the county. Perhaps state funding with county doing the work, we can do the bypass for a lot less than is on the books at the state level.
Thank you.
Again, we had looked into this and it was established by Charlie Boutros a couple of years ago that it could be done at the county level for $24 million. Big difference in pricing when you're looking at it. The impacts, if you bring it inside the railroad track compared to outside the railroad tracks, are much less because, of course, it's on a hill and doesn't have the wetlands issues to deal with. So there's a possibility of even bringing it down less. We can all get together and give each other a great big hug, but eventually somebody's got to get it started to get it done. I've been working on this for a while. I have no problem being the one to put my neck out there on the line to try and get it actually established, started, and done.
Thank you. Randy, I'll have you answer this question first. As you probably know, the port just voted to relocate the fairgrounds. Do you agree with this decision? And if you don't, what would be your solution? If you do agree, where should the new fairgrounds be located?
Eventually, something will have to be done, but it doesn't at the moment. I disagree with it at the moment. Although it looks really bad on paper, the truth of the matter is I'm a realtor also. I've looked over all the documents for when they transferred the property, and best use is the determining factor for the FAA. The county itself could actually rezone that area to a festival, and then the best use that would be available to it would be to use it as the fairgrounds and stuff. Eventually, though, something would have to be done. Without a doubt, the fairgrounds itself is not in the best of shape, and we'd have to work at it. At the moment, to have nothing seems unrealistic. But we can rezone it. The property owners don't even have to be okay with that, believe it or not. I'm on the planning commission, I'm the chair of the planning commission. I was surprised when I found that out. It could be rezoned even without their okay, but if that happened, keeping it as a fairgrounds would be a possibility.
Thank you. Denny?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I attended a meeting today. That was a joint meeting of the county commissioners and the port commissioners, and the subject of the discussion was the fairgrounds. And one of the things that I think is important to understand is that it is and has been a county responsibility to host this county fair and the fairgrounds historically. What happened shortly ago, a few years back, that the county had no funding to continue to support the fair and made a choice that left the port in position of having some kind of responsibility for the fairgrounds. What I saw happening today was what I think is a step in the right direction. We saw the port commissioners and the county commissioners agree to establish a committee that's going to take the work that's already been done to look at the fairgrounds option that is available near where Department of Public Works is now. There is land available there. There is a plan available there. So this committee is going to take a look at that and look at the issue of how can we find the money to support either a renovation of the existing fairgrounds, if that option is still available, or create a new fairgrounds that gets us started along the road to building a forever kind of fairground. We don't have to start with a finished product. We can get local businesses and interests to contribute buildings to this fairgrounds and then improve it as time goes by. But there is a way to do it, and I think we're on the right track.
Thank you.
It is nice that they're trying to pull together finally, and it is appreciated too. New fairgrounds, not today. We don't have the money. We don't have the money to do things we need to do. We need to work with the fairgrounds that is already established to be able to keep the costs down. Now, we also have to think outside the box. We can't just keep doing things we've always done. It's obvious that the county can't just carry the load by themselves. The cost is carried. There is a great benefit to our community when it comes to bringing in those tourist dollars into our economy, but that cost still has to be less than what we make on it. Now, the main thing we need to look at is like Oyster Fest. That's a whole different type of situation. If you look at it, they're able to make it profitable. It can be done the same way with a public-private partnership between the county, the ports, and some other local entities. We already had an entity that did it this time, and it was not able to be truly successful, but if it was a combination of public-private partnership, in the style of trying to set up a round oyster fest, we can make it successful.
I don't want to belabor the point. The issue is that we need to move forward with the fairgrounds. We need something that the community can rely on. We know that vendors will come here if they have a stable, reliable fairgrounds and an established schedule that they can count on. They don't have that now. We are dead in the water as of 2013 unless this committee comes up with something that is workable. I have not said that we need a new fairgrounds. I've said we need a fairgrounds. If we can work it out in the grounds that we have now, great. If we can't do that for whatever reason, then let's get on board with a new fairgrounds in the area where DPW is and where the plan already exists, and get that started. We need to come together as a community behind this, because the fairgrounds is really an 86-year-old historical part of who we are, and I think we need to maintain it.
Thank you. Denny, we often hear politicians talk about attracting business to our area. Assuming that you would also want to attract businesses and jobs, what specific proposals would you put forward to do that? Your answer should include your vision for land use and for infrastructure.
Well, I think that, thank you. I think that a number of things go into attracting business, and we've heard several of those ideas already expressed here tonight. I will repeat a couple of them. I think that we need to support those people in the community who want to start a small business. I've been involved in supporting an organization called Washington Cash. Randy knows this very well. His support supported it as well. It trained 25 people who wanted to start a new business in how to do that, and several of those people have already launched successful businesses. We need to do more of that. We need to make sure and continue to make sure that we have good schools in this area so that people who come here to locate a business will find that there's a good school here for their children. We also need to make better use, I believe, of our community college system and provide courses there, 2 or 3 additional courses there that address the needs for the kind of employees that people who wanted to locate a business here would draw on. For example, there could be a certificate program more often. I understand there has been 1 or 2 already, but there could be through Olympic College here in Sheldon a course on low impact development that gives people the background they need to help people get through the business of providing low impact development in whenever a new building is being constructed. So I think that attracting business has also to do with going out and really going after those people who have the potential to come here. They need to know that we have a great deal to offer in this community, and that we are going to try our best, and certainly I would do this at the county level, to reduce the regulatory burden that people have to go through to create a one-stop shop for business.
Thank you. Randy?
As I said before, I'm on the Port of Allyn Commission, and our main directive is economic development. I'm also on the Board of Directors for the Economic Development Council. We spend a lot of time focusing on bringing businesses in, and we see where there's a lot of issues that are stopping them from coming in. Some of them may surprise you. For example, the urban growth areas, a place we want them to build so they're not building out over lands that we would like to keep pristine, are pretty much closed for business in certain areas, like up in the Belfair region. We have to be able to open those urban growth areas to development if we want to have jobs and companies come here. And they do look to come here. Believe it or not, things are not so bad out there that companies aren't looking to relocate and move. Another problem that we have in Mason County is we do not have enough lands that are open even down here down the south towards the Shelton area. We don't have 5 and 10 acre parcels even, according to our latest study to the EDC, that shows that these 5 and 10 acre parcels have all the things necessary for bringing in businesses, such as the infrastructure, like, of course, water, sewer, all the things that are needed to bring businesses in. If we do some rezoning around our urban growth areas out here in Shelton and open it up, if we open up the Belfair UGAs, that'll allow the businesses that are looking to relocate, are looking to come in, a place to go. Another thing that we have to do, as Denny was talking about, he was talking about the cash program. that has been very successful. I'm the one that made a motion on it both times for it to move forward, and it has created jobs. I've also worked with the EDC and partnered up with them through the courts and the Small Business Administration to do a lot of education work for people that want to be entrepreneurs in this area, and even to retain the business that they have or grow what they have and allow them to make the profit so they can stay here, because retention is just as important as bringing in new businesses.
Kenny?
Randy mentioned the urban growth area issue, and I think it's an important thing that we need to keep in mind. Moratorium on development in Belfair had to do with the natural environment there in terms of the business environment, not having a proper water and sewer system and relying on a decaying septic program. Now that's changed in the core area at least. And so we have businesses that are expressing interest, and we have a new business that's going to open there soon. And I'm sure that others are going to follow, and they are only going to come there because the services are now available. So I think that those kinds of infrastructure changes have been essential. We need to continue to improve those, and we need to make sure that businesses have a welcoming environment when they seek to relocate.
A lot of different classes that I've been fortunate to take because of the port and the EDC. They go through a lot of different issues of what brings businesses to you. And I was always surprised by what the second one was, not the top one. The top one is an educated workforce. Having the people that will actually be educated enough to do the job that they're asking them to do. But the second is utilities and the cost of utilities. Having utilities being too expensive is another thing that keeps businesses out. This is a constant that they have to use in order to, of course, make their books work out. In, for example, the North Mason area, our utilities are way over the top, and we have to do things in order to focus on bringing those utility costs down so we can also bring businesses that way as well.
Thank you. With that response, you now will each have 2 minutes for your closing statements. However, as you begin your statements, would you please share with us one new idea that you would like to bring with you to the job? Randy, I'd like to hear from you first.
A new idea that I would like to bring to the job is a advisory committee for the citizens for an appeals process in regards to anything and everything that they come against within the county. There's certain times when county employees, in a sense, act like God and think that they have nobody to answer to. Not all of them, there's a lot of great people that work there, but there are a few. I'm also a realtor, I deal with some of those issues in different ways. There has to be some type of mechanism, some type of place where the people can come and appeal these type of decisions. At this point, they'd have to try and bring it before the commission. That's a lot harder to do than you can imagine, because the commission in those business meetings don't have the time each and every time to take up every appeal. And then on top of that, when the commission doesn't exist, none of them are bosses for the most part. There is no mama or daddy at that time because there's no executive director. So what it comes down to is they can make their decisions there, but as soon as they leave, that entity doesn't really exist at the moment to go and enforce anything. If we were to create an appeals committee, it'll give people the avenue to at least get their issues across, try and get changed what needs to be changed, but at the same time have certain regulations interpreted the way they think they should be interpreted, or the way they're even meant to be interpreted, without having to take it to court every time to do it.
Thank you. Denny, your closing statement, as well as one new idea that you would like to bring with you to the job?
Well, again, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I know there's another option you could be participating in. New idea that I really am excited about, and I've been involved in the last year or so, because I just became aware that it existed at all, is something called STEM, S-T-E-M. I'm very, this goes to a whole lot of the kinds of things that are going on in the county. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Education, Engineering, and Math. It's a focus for education. And what I believe is that we should strive in this county to create a STEM school that would create an opportunity for young people to advance themselves in those scientific areas, so that when an employer comes along who needs special skills, those skills are in the environment. I'm a fire commissioner in District 2. I have been for almost 7 years. I have to say that any of you who know District 2 know that it's one of the best fire departments in the state. I missed a meeting there tonight where four of our firefighters who spent time in Eastern Washington were going to do a show and tell of their experience and what they learned and what they bring back to their community. I've spent my entire professional career bringing communities and ideas together. I've done it overseas and I've done it here. We had a levy failure in District 2. We brought the community together. I facilitated a community meeting. We got our community on board with the fire department. We passed the levy by 70%. I did the same thing in Greatview. I'm the kind of person who brings communities and ideas together, and I want to be your county commissioner. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank both of you gentlemen for joining us tonight. With that, I'll ask Roslyn and Tim to join me up at the front. We won't be taking a break until